Just take it on back, boy. Take it on back, boy.
Hello guys, I hope you're all well. As you guys can tell, I am in a new setup. I don't actually know when this video is going to go live, so you might have already seen this setup by now. I'm trying to just film like a bunch of makeup videos at the minute because honestly, I have missed filming makeup videos so much. I feel like that was my passion when I started YouTube, and I still love doing makeup now, still love trying new products, and I've not really done that recently. I've literally had the most stressful morning because I've lost my memory card, like my other memory card's the one that I'm using right now, and I'd already filmed 2 videos on that, and I've literally had like the biggest meltdown about it. I realize it's like not the biggest problem in the world, but I don't know, I've literally had such a meltdown about it, so I'm trying to like compose myself and start fresh. I've got a couple of brands that I've recently bought a bunch of products from. So I've got some products from Pat McGrath, from XX Revolution, which I'd already filmed that video, but it was on the card that I have lost, on the memory card that I've lost, and Fenty Beauty as well. So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to be testing some Fenty products. I have actually tried a few products from them before. I feel like when Fenty first launched, it was a lot of like matte products, like the foundation was quite matte, the primer was mattifying, I think it was anyway, so I didn't really find many products when Fenty first launched that were suitable for my skin. So recently Rihanna has of course brought out a bunch of new products. So we've got a new foundation, a new primer, an eyeshadow palette, and some base and lip products as well. So I've already gone ahead and done my brows. I used the Fenty Beauty Brow MVP in the shade Dark Brown, which is what I've got on right now, of course. I have actually used this before. Obviously, I went cruelty-free this year in terms of my makeup and skincare and things. So I have actually tried this before because I basically needed to replace my Benefit brow pencil because unfortunately Benefit is not cruelty-free as much as I love them as a brand. So yeah, I basically tried this out because this was actually sent in PR and absolutely fell in love with it. The formula of this is so incredible. I love the fact that it's got quite like a decent quality brush on the opposite side. It's just a really great formula. It applies really smooth, which is what I always want from a brow pencil. It lasts all day. Just in general, like everything formula wise is amazing. So I've already tried this and know that I love it. And then for concealer to prime the eyes, I use the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Concealer in the shade 190. So this again I have had for a while. This concealer, I don't know if it's just me, I never really know how I feel about it. I feel like the coverage is great, but the actual formula is quite sticky. I don't know if anyone else finds that, but I feel like it's just quite sticky and tacky and takes quite a lot to set it down. I find that sometimes my mascara kind of transfers throughout the day because the concealer is like not quite dry or whatever. I don't know, it's a bit of an odd one. I do like it, but there's some issues that I have with it as well, if that makes sense. And then I did also set down my eyes with the, what is this? The Pro Filter powder in the shade Butter. So I hadn't tried this before. I've been on the hunt recently for a new loose powder because you guys know I loved my YSL powder when I wasn't cruelty free, but obviously I can't use that anymore. So I wanted to try this. I just got the mini version because I feel like powders last you a lifetime anyway. And I have tried this once on the skin. I actually tried this when I filmed my XX Revolution testing video, which, as I've just said, is lost on a card somewhere out in the wilderness, and I didn't really know how I felt about it, so I'm excited to test it again today under my eyes. But yeah, I just used that to set that down in the crease as well. For eyeshadow, I picked up the Fenty Beauty Snap Shadows, and this is in the shade, or like the color scheme, True Neutrals. I wanted to get something that I knew I would get a lot of use out of. There's basically a whole range of like color stories with these, but this especially just screamed my name. Obviously it's all like warm nudes. There's 3 matte shades and 3 shimmers. So we're gonna give this a go. So I'm gonna start with this shade right here. I feel like this is the best option for a transition color, and I'm just gonna pop that in the crease. So I'm just gonna kind of give myself like a light wash of this throughout the crease. I'm not really using a lot of pressure, just doing really light back and forth motions. I actually really like the lighting like this. I've been playing around a little bit with the lighting in this office, and I've realized that I don't like filming when there's not natural daylight coming through, which is so annoying because I hate relying on natural daylight for my lighting because it's really unpredictable. Some days are really cloudy and then there's no lighting at all. But when I just have just the artificial lights on here, it's just so dark and dingy, or I have to put the overhead lights on and then it's really bright. So I feel like this is like the perfect amount of lighting for me, but it means that I've got to rely on natural daylight again, which is one of the reasons I used to hate filming. Well, not hate filming, but I used to get stressed about filming makeup videos at home. I'm going to take a little bit of the darker shade, just a really small amount. These are quite pigmented, so don't want to go like too crazy with it. I'm just going to start pressing that. I always press darker shades first because A, it means you get less fallout, and B, you tend to get better color payoff when you press them down rather than just like going in and swiping. And I'm going to take a tiny little bit more of the lighter shade just to add to the outer portions of the darker shade, like so. Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe just doing an extra upload a week that is specifically makeup, because I know a lot of you guys subscribe to my channel just for makeup, and obviously I haven't been filming any makeup videos recently. So I'm thinking about doing maybe a Tuesday upload, because that's actually what I used to do. I used to do testing Tuesdays way back in the day. I never really do heavy eyeshadow anymore, so when I do, I feel like it's such a treat because especially in lockdown, like I feel like I've just gotten so lazy with doing makeup. It's like, what is the point when I'm literally not going anywhere? Thank you. Okay, I feel like that is at a happy point. I'm wondering whether to use one of these shimmers. I mean, I feel like we should, because otherwise it would be a waste of this palette, but I'm kind of wondering like which one. Okay, so I'm gonna use this shade, I think. What's the shade called? I've not actually been reading the shade names. So that is Velvet Cuffs. Just going to press that on. I definitely prefer the mattes. I'm not really much of a shimmer girl anyway now. I don't know, I feel like it just looks a little bit, it looks natural, which if you like a natural shimmer, then I feel like you would like these, but if you want something intense and like in your face, then you probably wouldn't. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and put some lashes on. I'm just gonna put on some Rodeo Drives by Backstage Beauty, literally the only lashes I ever wear. I do have a discount code in the description bar if you want to purchase them. Lashes are on. There is actually nothing better than like a fresh pair of lashes. So onto skin, I have already put moisturizer on, which is why I'm looking so shiny. Thank you. Primer wise, I picked up the Pro Filter Hydrating Primer, which I've never tried before. Oh, do you know what? That feels so good. Do you know what? This does not feel like any primer that I own. It feels so soothing and just like not creamy, but not a gel either. It just feels really, really good. There aren't many primers at the minute either that I'd say I really love. Like, I love my Laura Mercier Hydrating Primer and like the CRT Watermelon Primer, but there aren't many that I would like repurchase. Next up, we've got the Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Hydrating Foundation. I got this in the shade 230. If there's one thing that I hate about shopping for makeup online, it is literally impossible to guess your shade. Like, I will be that person googling images of like swatches for an hour before I actually commit to buying one, because it's so hard. Actually looks a little bit light, which I wasn't expecting. Oh, it's actually not too light. Okay, first things first. I mean, what are we saying first impression wise? It definitely is very glowy. Coverage wise, it looks amazing. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't really feel like I've got anything on my skin, which I always like with foundation. Applied so well with a sponge as well. I feel like it looks really pretty. Okay, yeah, I feel like that is looking good. I'm gonna try this side with a brush just to see how it goes. So this is a Morphe Jaclyn Hill brush. Usually with a brush, I would tend to get a lot more coverage, but to be fair, the coverage with the sponge was pretty good, so okay, I'm pretty happy with that. It definitely is hydrating and glowy, which is so much better for me than the first foundation. The first foundation I just could not get on with. It was too dry. Okay, so I'm gonna do a little bit of cream bronzer. So for that, we've got the Cheeks Out cream bronzer in the shade Macchiato. As you can see, I have used this already. They did send me this in PR probably, I want to say like a month ago now. The time's going so quickly in lockdown, I honestly couldn't tell you. Again, so far, I kind of have mixed feelings on this. I feel like it is a really pretty shade, as you can see, for cream bronzer. I feel like it sometimes goes a little bit patchy on my skin, but again, because I think my skin is so dry, I just really struggle with some products in terms of like them clinging to dry patches and things. So I kind of just have to make sure that my base is super hydrated, which it definitely is today. So with cream bronzer, I kind of just push it into the skin. You don't want to do big like sweeping motions just because it will disturb the foundation underneath. But yeah, I'm kind of just pressing it into all of the places where I'd want a little bit of extra warmth. Okay, and then I do want to use one of the cream blushes as well. So this one is in the shade Petal Pop. It's the Cheeks Out cream blush. Again, as you can see, I have used this a little bit. I actually really love this for no makeup days. So if I'm just doing like a little bit of concealer, putting my brows on, I'll pop a little bit of this on and then just like the clear Fenty gloss, and I love it. Just gonna use a smaller brush. This is an angled contour by Makeup Geek, but we're gonna use it for blush today instead of contour. And I'm just gonna kind of press this on the apples of the cheeks and then move it up towards my cheekbones. I do really like a blush moment at the minute, like a good blushy cheek. I feel like it's really pretty for summertime. And then I'm gonna go ahead and pop some of the concealer under my eyes. I'll be interested to see how this concealer lasts today because, as I said, I just feel like it goes a bit kind of creasy and almost just like greasy feeling under my eyes. I don't know what to do about my under eye today. I've not actually been putting any eyeshadow on my under eye recently. So if anyone follows me on Instagram, all of like my recent images where I'm actually wearing like a full face of makeup, I don't really put anything on my lower lash line because I don't know, I feel like it just makes my eyes look a little bit more open, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna use some of the powder just on my beauty blender. I felt like this powder was quite drying. I don't really know how it's gonna go today. I don't like to really bake, so I'm just gonna go ahead and sweep away any excess. Kind of using the excess to set down the rest of the skin. Okay, so I don't actually have my Fenty powder bronzer with me, so I'm gonna have to use my Too Faced one instead. It's actually at home at my house. Really, really love the Fenty powder bronzer though, like 10 out of 10 recommend if you haven't already tried it. Just a really good formula, and the shade that I have, I feel like it's also the shade Macchiato, or maybe I've dreamt that, but it's a really good shade for nose contour as well, so if anyone wants to give it a go, I 10 out of 10 recommend. I'm just going to use this to contour my nose as well. I actually don't know how I used to just like not contour my nose. Highlighter wise, we've got the Kilowatts Highlighter in the shades Mean Money and Hustler Baby. So yeah, I have tried this before. I feel like it was maybe a little bit too dark for my skin, or it kind of showed up a little bit. I'm gonna try it anyway. Oh, do you know what, actually no, I feel like that is just the right shade because you can't really see it as a color, you can just see the glow. Does that make any sense? Am I just talking absolute nonsense? I mean, that is beautiful. Do the chin a bit above the brow. I'm not actually going to do anything on my lower lash line. I know some people might think that that's crazy, but honestly, like, I've just not been doing anything on my lower lash line recently. I feel like it just leaves the eyes looking really like, I don't know, winged and just fierce. Never said that word in my life, but still. So yeah, if you want to do your lower lash line, if you're following this tutorial, obviously you can, but I'm not going to. So for lips, I actually very recently got these sent in PR, which I'm super grateful for. So these are the Fenty Beauty Slip Shine, oh no, what? Slip Shine Sheer Shiny Lipstick. Is that what that says? Oh my gosh, I thought I had good eyesight, but clearly not. This one is in the shade Glazed, which I thought just looked like a really nice kind of nude. As you can see, they're really kind of luminous, like just sheer, juicy lipsticks. I'm just gonna use a NYX lip liner. This is the NYX matte lip liner in the shade Leon, just because Fenty don't do lip liners. So I'm gonna pop this on and then pop the lipstick on top. That feels so good on the lips. Like, that literally just felt like a thick lip balm. Like, it feels so hydrating, so moisturizing. It's not really sticky. It just kind of feels like a lip balm. I'm going to pop on a little bit of Fenty setting spray. What is this? The What It Do Makeup Refreshing Spray. Have I used this before? I feel like I've not. Wow, that is the softest mist. That actually just feels like I've just walked into clouds. Okay, so this is the finished Fenty look. Please let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and let me know what other brands you want me to test out. I really hope you all enjoyed this. I actually had so much fun making this, like doing this makeup and testing out these products. I feel like pretty much everything is a hit for me, bar maybe the powder and the concealer, but I feel like I definitely need to try the powder a little bit more. It does actually look pretty good now that the makeup is done. But yeah, I feel like everything has pretty much been a hit in this, so I'm excited to use these products more. Let me know if you've tried any of them down below. I'm gonna get going anyway. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.